Hello again, everyone. This is Game Collector here, and welcome to, well, the first episode of Import Month, originally known as Gundam Month last year, having done 4 Robot Tamashii, or Damashi, or however the heck it's supposed to be pronounced, Gundams in a single month. But since I've run out of those, and I only have the one left, we're going to start with him. And, yeah. The GN-006 Cherudim Gundam from the second season. And we'll start off with the box. Here it is. Side MS, Robot Spirits, R number 4, or 004 or whatever. And there's a mugshot of the Cherudim on the side, more of what we just saw on the front. On the back, it shows Cherudim with the twin pistols, the sniper rifle, and scope, the shield bits, stand, the gun can transform, and a little holographic sniping unit. There's the other side, just shows Cherudim standing. And the underside has nothing special, nor does the top. Okay, and there's the box. Unlike 00, it's not signed. 00 is the only one that has an autograph on it. So, let's move on to the actual figure. Now, I'm going to say this right now. I have no idea. There's no way to store the rifle at all. Here's the rifle. Pull this a little bit out and fold it up, and now it's the sniper mode, and it has the little extended handle. I'll get more onto that. But as I was just saying, there's no way to make it peg onto this arm without using this. You have to peg this into the arm, and this can hold the little shield bits like this one does. But there's no way for him to store the rifle. So, yeah, there's that. Here are the little hatchet pistols. Comes with 2 of them, obviously. If it would actually... There we go. And this guy is pretty durable, much like the other Robot Damashi figures. Granted, I haven't done anything to really super violent with it, but you get the idea. High quality, durable stuff. Okay, come on, peg in. There. There's the hatchet mode, there's pistol mode, and there's guns akimbo, or akibo, or however it's pronounced. The little fin right here on the head is a little bent. I have no idea how to correct it, because I've been trying for many, many months now. I got this guy shortly after I got the CeraV, so he's been waiting for a long time for this. And you may notice that the little shield bits back here are missing. Well, that's because they don't want to fit. I still have them. They're on the stand, which I have not set up yet for reasons. But I will show you the problems. Oh, the problems. And just attach them. I am a little scared of taking these on and taking them off and putting them on, because they, well, you'll see. There's one. Oh, you can't see it, so I'll just lower the camera down. There's the first one on, giving it the whole platypus tail thing, or beaver tail, or what have you. And one more to cover up the GN drive, and see, it's already popping off. And they don't want to stay on. I push the top one on, and it immediately pushes off, because the pegs are bigger than the holes inside. That little hole I have highlighted, not this rectangular one, but that tiny square one. That's why those won't stay on here. Same with this. This has to go down here, and it does not like staying down there. So instead of staying like this, the way it should be, they all fall off and don't want to stay there. So I have to leave them on the stand at all times so I don't lose them. Yep. So how do I initiate the stand? Well, it's fairly simple. You just do that. These wide ends slide into these two little grooves right here. And this back piece slides into that rectangular hole you see zoomed in. You saw zoomed in before. And it does come with an alternate. It comes with two stand pieces. This and this. This is for the shield, but I prefer using it to make it look like it has 3 gun bits. And it comes with this, so you can only have 1 gun bit deployed, and it plugs right into the into that little rectangular hole there, like so. But again, it's all personal preference. And you can, well, you'll see in a bit. Now, I actually pulled off 2 sets of hands. He has 2 sets of hands, naturally, but that's something else. He comes with 2 closed fists. And the hands that he has on now are his holding things hands. Now, as I was saying, I pulled off 2 sets of hands. I actually have the 00's fists and the Cherudim's fists. And at first glance, they look almost identical. Almost. One of the ways I figured it out is, I might have to adjust the camera because this is going into real nerd talk now. No, turn it the other way. The attention to joint detail on the fists is how I managed to tell them apart. Whoop. The Cherudim has angular fingers, while the 00 has rounded knuckles like a human hand. So that's one way I told them apart, and just how detailed this figure line is. I really need to get a better camera. Now, there are 2 other accessories aside from the fists. I'm setting the 00's off to the side. And I won't be attaching these, even though they come attached to a ball joint. And here's the base for the stand. Here's the rod. It's so hard to find a nice middle ground on this camera. And here's where it pegs in. And it's a very loose connection. So you can do things like this. Yeah, that's a very loose connection. So I usually have it like this, and now it has 3 little rifle bits floating around. Oh, but you want to see it with a sniper rifle? Well, I can do that too. Just want to tuck the little pistols away. And if you don't, and if you have a preference for these sticking out or not, you can just fold them down. So they're not obscuring anything, and they're just they can be easily re-raised. I prefer sticking them on, sticking up, and then folding them down. But before we get to the sniper rifle, the arms are... It's pegged into a ball joint into the torso, and then the shoulder is on a hinge, and it has a bicep swivel, standard elbow, and then it has another hinge for the shoulder pad, and another little hinge for the little... And you probably saw none of that. Okay. Torso is on a... The shoulder is connected to the torso via ball joint, but the actual shoulder has a hinge for itself. The actual shoulder pad and the little flap also are on hinges. The elbow has a hinge, the wrist is on a ball joint, but it's very slight, so the most you can get out of it is a rotation. Even the little skirt is on a ball joint. It has that nice waist, but you know what? I'm just going to take all the little shield bits off of it, and yes, they can't all be removed, even the ones from the knees. And to be quite honest, they all fit on very securely. Well, except the ones on the shoulder. And you'll recognize this little piece as it's this thing. They gave you two of them. And so it actually has about the same range, maybe just a little bit less than the 00. And also, to get some really dynamic poses, he has these heel flaps to keep him stable. And yes, they work like a charm. And then this thing moves... The GN drive moves up and down, but it takes up a lot of space. I'm not sure if I want to get the Cherudim Saga, because apparently you can connect the rifle to the shoulder and the GN drive isn't so gigantic. It also comes with all the guns, except the sniper rifle, which has been replaced by a carbine, or carbine, or however that's pronounced. I mean, even the ankle, this joint is connected to a joint in here, so it has all that wild movement, and then the foot is connected to this ankle joint separately, and you saw none of that again. I just love this line so much. It's so much better than that other line. What was it called? Oh, yes. Mobile suit in action. That crappy rubbery plastic. All this stuff, it doesn't feel all that rubbery. It feels like genuine plastic. The only parts that feel rubbery are not even, they're not even all that rubbery when you feel them. The only parts, it's just soft plastic. So now I've actually taken all of the little shield bits off of it. And why not just go all out here? So, these two will be facing this way. These two will also be facing this way. And this one will go right in the middle. Now, I'm not sure if you can tell on camera, but 4 of them look darker. Oh yeah, you can tell on camera. These look darker and these look lighter. I'm not sure how it's doing that, but when you turn them upside down, it'll reverse. Let me get my little pocket flashlight back out. Now you can't really tell. Crap. Okay, there, yeah. Now these four are dark, and the original these four are light. And again, you flip them upside down and it trades off. I don't know how it does that, but it's really cool. And it's not even a real feature. I just think that's really neat. GN particles are doing it. Yeah, the GN pixie dust. Yeah, we'll just say it's that. That's what they say for everything in 00. GN particles. There. Problem solved. Okay, now to this guy. He comes with 2 extra accessories aside from his hands. This little transparent visor, which I will show in a moment how to hook up. And I'm holding it upside down. This little visor, the holographic display screen that he used when it was in Trans Am, and this little nubbin. That looks familiar. I wonder what that does. Well, you can pull this one off, and there's a distinct difference between the two. One is raised, one isn't. And just to show you the exposed head, there's the little scope. So, you can attach this one. Essentially, it has 2 sniper modes. You have mode 1 with the little raised bit. And now for his weapon, which you just slide into his open hand. Try to get the other arm to hold it properly. And because it has such amazing jointage, although I still find it a bit difficult for him to hold it. Come on. Come on. No, that's a bad idea. Give me some time, folks. And there, now it has a sniper rifle. Now, to give him some balance, you have to make him lean back. And to make him lean back, you give him the little foot extensions. So now it has a rifle out. And what's this? He needs some cover? That's okay. He can deploy his own. Okay, the cover doesn't want to stay in proper position. Yeah, this thing gets really... This thing is kind of hefty because it's 8 bits of plastic on a chunk of plastic on a tiny little spindly peg that doesn't hold it very securely. So yeah, I think you can get where I'm coming from here. Or I can turn it sideways. There, that kind of does it. Yeah, this little deployable shield, remote control bit thing. Let's just hook these back in. I'll just put this one back on the shoulder. And what I like to do is, well, it's kind of hard because the head has to move around a lot. Fold these little things out of his backpack, or the vents. You have to pull them back and then push them forward. It's kind of a trial of its own. Let's move the arm so it's not so obtrusive. And take this little thing. And I'm not sure if you can see, there's this little blue piece sticking out, and it has one on each side. And you can see the little slots in there. And you just oh, nope. I'm going to remove his rifle too, because that's kind of getting in the way. Get him steady. And slide them in. Raise them up. Oh, it can go in both ways. That's kind of unexpected. Yeah, they can go in. You can push them in from the top or the bottom. So now it has the giant goggles that I'm not exactly sure what they do, but he used them in Trans Am instead of the scope. So now it has the scope and the zoom goggles. Scope and goggles? I didn't know Gundams. No, I'm not even going to use that joke. It's too easy. Too easy. So now you can actually have both of them on, or you can take the open panel scope and put the closed one back on so it just has the goggles, or the holo display, or whatever. This thing was only used once, and it's still made an accessory for the toy. The only problem is these two parts get in the way, so I don't really like using it all that much. And now you push it out of the way. Yay, it's off. And I can put these gigantic things away. Yay, it's better now without these things sticking out. And while you could just have the visor hanging off this backpack, then it wouldn't be able to go over the face because the V-fin gets in the way. And now let's see. We'll just slide them all back in place now, and I'm going to show you where I put them. Ooh, come on. Yep. And again, I'm very, very disappointed in the fact that I can't hook all of them on the back at once anymore. When I got him brand new, he could still do that, but he can't anymore. Don't know why. But apparently the pegs somehow got big and the holes got small. Or something. I wouldn't dare. I could, but I don't want to because... Okay, I got this toy off of HLJ for clearance price, $10, less than just under 1,000 yen. So the only reason it was like $20 was because it was like $10 shipping. But that's pretty good. But for a toy of this high quality, you don't want to do anything like that. Even if you could make all the parts go on there, this isn't a model kit. This isn't a model kit. I don't want to break it or damage it in any way, shape, or form. Even if that is something of a defect. Okay, yeah. Now this thing here, pegs in on this shoulder. I'm going to show you the only possible way you can get it to hold the rifle up there. Also, I could also... hold on. Come on, go in. Go in. This is the other part I don't like. Gonna have to take the pistols off because I'm afraid of bending those out of shape. Set those down there for now. Then grasp the backpack and the shoulder. And there, it's on, finally. Now, this thing can do, this little bobble here can do a couple of things. You can take the rifle, pull it out, and you will actually hear a click when I fold it back up. There. Now it's secure in SMG mode, which I actually prefer having it in because it's not long. All of the weight is kind of back here. I'm not sure where the weight goes, but it's not sticking out front. It's not sticking out all the way over here anymore. Most of the weight is in the barrel. And, well, this midsection in the barrel, so I'd have to say the weight is around here. But when you have it out, it kind of likes to sag forward unless you figure out how to make the gun, make it get held by both hands. I'm not sure. Basically, you have one hand holding the handle and the other one holding this handle. So, okay, the only way to secure this thing onto the Gundam without having it sag around, you hook this under the, under there, and then kind of let it hang from the handle. But you have to have the second handle folded outward. And this isn't exactly all that secure either. Granted, the joint for the rifle barrel to be held up is pretty strong, and it hasn't shown any signs of wanting to pop out or have the barrel slide down. But I don't particularly like that I have to have a second accessory attached in order for it to store its rifle. I find that rather displeasing, considering the high quality of these. That's like my only gripe about, well, the only other gripe. The big gripe I have is that these don't want to fit on the backpack. I can't talk. I can't not talk. My big complaint is the bits can't fit on Cherudim's GN drive anymore. That's my big gripe. The little secondary gripe, which is more of just disappointment, is that I can't store the rifle on it at all. Granted, Cerevi can't store its bazookas, not that it ever actually did, and it kind of just wielded them all the time, and 00 can store its sabers, but this thing can't store any of its accessory, it can't store its rifle without that. And it doesn't look right, just hanging there. But this does kind of solve one problem. Two of the bits that don't want to stay on, I can store on the shoulder. Okay. And it just slides in there. It's exactly like the other one, only it's mirrored. So you just slide them on. Oh, lovely. So a lot of the joints on this guy are obviously nice and tight. So, and there. And that's what the Cherudim Gundam would look like with both on its shoulders. And no, you can't connect them all over here on this side and have rifle bits here because, one, there are no rifle bits, and two, there's no connector for this shoulder to hold all the bits anyway. If they made an accessory kit for that, I would not be surprised if they did. That would be pretty amazing. First, I would like to see a, wow, I can't even remember the name of the Gundam for the Cherudim's upgrade for the movie. No, Harut is the upgrade for Zambunya. That's it. I'd really like to see a Zambunya robot Damashi figure, robot spirits. You can't really screw up that pronunciation. I'd love to see a robot spirits version of Zambunya. But no, there's only a robot spirits of the Quanta, which I do not own. And there are technically two versions of it. The version that we normally see, and then there's the burst mode, the quantum burst version, which is like very expensive. It's even more expensive if you buy the light up base to go with it. Then it's like, I think $200. Eesh. It's like $30 or $50. It's $30 if you can find a good deal, $50 if you're really desperate to get the Quanta. Come on, get back on there. Get back on there. And there, you have the Cherudim with two shoulder shields and a tiny little rifle bit. Isn't that adorable? Personally, I prefer it with the one shoulder because that's how it looks in the show. But, you know, personal preference, your mileage may vary, all that things. You can do all sorts of things with this thing. Peel all the armor off, give it both shoulders like this, leave one shoulder, take both shoulders off. Like if you want it to look asymmetrical or not. I personally prefer it looking asymmetrical because you don't have a lot of Gundams that look that way. Oh, sorry, bumped the camera there. So, and another reason I like to give it asymmetry is this doesn't look like it's all that threatening, just one little rifle bit. No, you take 3 of them, and that looks far more threatening, and it can fire off 3 beams instead of 1. Granted, they're not exactly all that powerful. For those of you who actually know the anime and the specs, the rifle mode for the bits is actually really, really pathetic. I think it's either rated just above or just below a beam Vulcan gun. Unless they're in Trans Am, in which case they're about the equivalent of Cerevi's uncharged bazooka. But still, that looks like a little bit more threatening. And strangely enough, while I do have the hack and slash game known as Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3, at the same time, I got Cerevi, then the Cerevi downloadable content, then I got Cherudim, then the Cherudim content. What? And I'd like to make one correction from last year's video. I thought Cherudim came with a beam saber. It does not. You don't have to buy Arios and Cherudim to give Cerevi the 6 sword mode. You have to buy Arios and the GN Archer to give it the full 6 saber. At least I think the GN Archer comes with a beam saber. I know it has those 2 big rifle things on its arms. So with that little correction out of the way, and all of this on display at once with the little accessories pulled back here. This has been the first part of Import Month, and I will see you all next week with something that is not a Gundam, but it is still very much a Japanese toy. Later.